Rebecca Davis, weird, scary, and interesting. And today is the last episode of Weird, Scary, and Interesting for Season 2. So, the episode to finish the whole Season 2 off is MonsterVerse. Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Yeah, so today's topic is MonsterVerse. Probably a great way to end season 2. Okay. Okay. This is what MonsterVerse is. The MonsterVerse is an American multimedia franchise and shared universe featured Godzilla, King Kong, and other characters owned and created by a Japanese company, Toho Co. Ltd. The franchise consists of 5 films, 2 television series, comics that began in 2014 that have been produced by Legendary Pictures with Warner Brothers. Yeah, Warner Brothers, you know, the company that brings us Looney Tunes like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and that. Yeah, they're associated with MonsterVerse. Okay. The stories are set in an alternate universe timeline where we're a secret organization called Monarch Studies, and often clashes with these great creatures and referred to as Titans. Now, when I was doing this script, I was going along looking at them. It's like, they are Japanese origin, because, as I just said, Toho Co. Ltd. is Japanese. Okay. We are gonna learn today about all the monsters from the MonsterVerse. This is just about the monsters from MonsterVerse. And there's 7 of them. We're not going to talk... There is humans in this verse, but we're not going to talk about them. This is just solely the stars of this episode, final episode of season 2, is the monsters from MonsterVerse. Because mainly they're the guys, the ones that, they're the creatures that are the star of this MonsterVerse genre. Just like the monsters from the Universal Monsters, they were the stars of their movies. So, and we'll learn about what gender they are, and what species they are, and where they're located, where they live. Okay, let's learn about these 7 monsters from the MonsterVerse. Get a little sip of coffee, and then we can get into it. Number 1 is Godzilla. Godzilla is a male, colossal, prehistoric reptilian dinosaur that resides partly in the Pacific Ocean. And there's a train going through town. And only is awakened and empowered after many years by exposure to nuclear radiation and nuclear testing. Now, some of these we'll find also where some of these monsters we're gonna find out where they had their first debut. Okay, let's see what Godzilla's debut, what year he came in out in the movie world. Godzilla's history began with the 1954 Japanese film Gojira, created as a horror for the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and inspired by the incidents like the Lucky Dragon fishing boat and American monster films. So that's, you can understand, that's where he gets his power, nuclear powers, is from the nuclear bomb that the Americans dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the tail end of the Second World War. Have you ever seen Pearl Harbor, the movie Pearl Harbor? It's mentioned in there. Because after the Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, the U.S. was more or less thrown into the Second World War. Because the Americans didn't want to be part of this in the Second World War. If you watched my last week's video for Remembrance Day, I showed our collection of war movies, and I showed we have the copy of Pearl Harbor, the movie, and explained a little bit of history there. So that's what they're saying, yeah, that Godzilla got his powers because of the atomic bomb that they dropped on Nagasaki, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So yeah, and they got inspired by some American monster films. Sorry, that's just my roommate in the back getting frustrated. Okay. Okay, back to Godzilla. Okay. The original design blended Tyrannosaurus Rex, my favorite dinosaur, with a design dragon and a Stegosaurus. So you imagine all those reptilian creatures all together, and that's Godzilla. And giving it a dinosaur-like body. So, voila, that's Godzilla. All made together. Mix all those reptilian creatures together, and you got the Godzilla. And an armor plates, because obviously he needs some armor in battle. And the ability to breathe atomic fire. Why not? He has an atomic radiation thing going on. He might as well, and has a dragon mixed in him. You might as well have him breathe fire. Amp it up to atomic fire. From this frightening, catastrophic monster named Godzilla that evolved into a global pop culture icon starring in dozens of films, TV shows, other media, with his size and portrayal changing over decades. And I think The Simpsons had a parody of Godzilla once on an episode of The Simpsons. I guess it takes one little thing to wake up that guy and well, hell breaks loose. Okay, let's move on to number 2, to Muto. Muto is a male-female giant, so we're having both genders, male and female. Parasite creature from the Godzilla films, with a grayish black iridescent exoskeleton and red eyes that lives all over the world, both on the surface and underground. Someone lives every places these two parasites on. Muto's history began with 2014's film Godzilla. There, Muto was discovered in a 1999 mining operation. They are parasitic androids that feed on radiation. We're starting to see a theme here that a lot of these monsters from this MonsterVerse have something to deal with radiation. And reproduce by laying eggs. And so their species are egg-laying species. Okay. Inside of many deceased members of Godzilla's species. So they find a dead species, they lay their egg there. After hatching, they emerge to find a power source, and the two discovered in 1999 eventually converged in San Francisco to nest where they were stopped by Godzilla. So Godzilla's the hero in this movie. Muto has appeared in 3 films, 4 comics/gothic novels, 1 television series, 2 video games that were from the Godzilla franchise. And I think I'm right, Godzilla is a spin-off of another totally different Japanese film. Okay, let's move on from the parasitic creature called Muto to number 3, which is King Kong. Well, Kong, aka King Kong. Kong is also known as King Kong. I had to look that up because I was curious to see if Kong and King Kong were the same person, like the same animal, and obviously I was right. Kong and King Kong are the same person. Kong is just short for King Kong. Okay. Which is a powerful highly intelligent solitary male great ape that lives on Skull Island. Kong's history began with Mir and Ian C. Cooper in the 1920s, leading to 1933's film King Kong, and where a great male ape is brought from Skull Island to New York City and then meets his end on Empire State Building. You should, you remember, that's the movie that Fay Wray was in. She was the woman that Kong had in his hand while he's climbing up the Empire State Building. And she was screaming because it's a giant ape and she's like almost like ant size. But he was nice enough to set her inside of the Empire State Building. And Fay Wray has to watch poor King Kong being shot at by all these planes while he's holding up on the Empire State Building for dear life. Till the one big shot and he goes flying down. That is also another movie another MonsterVerse monster that The Simpsons parodied. Because Homer played King Kong. Also, Homer played Godzilla too in The Simpsons. I think it was a Treehouse of Horror episode. Oh, hold on, I'll be back. Okay, we're back. I just had to help Anita with something. Okay, we left off with Kong, aka King Kong. And we're talking about his debut film that was from 1933. That brought him from Skull Island to New York City. The most famous film that of King Kong. There's actually one of the other films of his is on that movie, that Halloween movie me and Anita have in our collection, called The Old Night Party one, that shows a clip of it, but it just calls him Kong, like he's like a experiment from a mad scientist. Okay. So we'll continue on since we're talking about Kong, aka King Kong. This story has been retold and reprinted numbered of times, with major remakes like in the 1976 version, and in 2005, Peter Jackson film, and his role in the MonsterVerse, which began from Kong Skull Island. As I said, the Simpsons did their own parody of King Kong, of Kong's famous debut film that he had back in 1933. That'd be like a little bit over 90 years today. That they did, as I said, that Simpsons reprised, parodied Kong's famous film Skull Island, the one that he debuted back in 1933. I think it was Simpsons did it for a Treehouse of Horror episode, because Homer played Kong, aka King Kong, and Marge played the role that Fay Wray would have played in the 33 movie that he debuted. Yeah. Okay. The character has also appeared in sequels, various other media, and continuously evolving with new special effects and storyline approaches. Kong has starred in at least 13 films, 4 TV shows, numerous comic books, novels, video games, stage musicals, and various other licensed production. I'll tell you. And plus King Kong, as we're going to find out in the last little bit of this video, that King Kong is a daddy. He has adopted a few other kids himself, and one of them is on this list. Maybe sometime in one of the seasons we might go through and see look at King Kong's family tree. I came upon that and it's like, oh, I guess he has a sweet side of himself. Besides swinging from buildings. About the Skull Island film, I seen like a bit of it. I should sometimes sit down and maybe find it on a streaming channel or something and watch the whole thing. That there is a scene that Kong, aka King Kong, fights a dinosaur, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Because I guess Skull Island, not only the fact that it has a gigantic great ape living there, there's dinosaurs living on there. Like from, I guess, pterodactyls to Tyrannosaurus rexes to long necks. Okay. Okay, since my roommate is done cleaning the kitchen. Yeah. Okay. And we're done talking about Kong, which we know is Kong and King Kong are the same ape. As I say, I was curious. I had to look to see if Kong and King Kong were the same great giant ape that okay. And now we know that they're the same ape. Okay, since done with Kong, we'll move on to number 4, and that's another king, which is King, hopefully I get this creature's name right. G. Hyde or Ha. King G. Hyde or Ha is a great male 3-headed golden dragon like monster that resides from another planet. So, unless we have two dragons here, but one's from Earth and one's from outer space. King G. Hyde or Ha's history started in 1964's film G. Hyde or Ha, the 3-headed monster. But King G. Hyde or Ha's history has shown across very significantly across different film series, but he is most often portrayed as destructive extraterrestrial. In some versions, he is an ancient alien monster who destroys civilizations on other planets like Venus, our planet's twin, and wiped out other dinosaurs on Earth. Oh, that's what happened to the dinosaurs, really. In other timelines, he is created by humans through futuristic technologies, something like mad scientists decided to let's try to make something and see what it comes out, and it came out, probably came out in some films, came out as this extraterrestrial king. Okay, such as a mutated do-rats. Do-rats sounds like a doo-wop group. That are fusated through together. So more or less it's like almost like merging three long necks together, and that's what you get. Other interpretations portrayed him as a guardian monster, or being a pure energy that consumes planets. Kind of like they say that in like a million years, what our sun would do, that it would eventually consume the planets in our universe, the Milky Way. If you can imagine that King Jihad or Ha is kind of like, if you imagine him as the sun, and eventually consumes all the planets. Because he got a little too big for himself. There's more room for everybody else in that universe. Okay. The King Jihad appeared in at least 11 movies, 5 TV series, and video games, comics, and novels. So, in a way, the King Jihad is, in a way, nice, and in a way, cranky. I guess it's kind of like you don't want to... He's one a monster you don't want to wake up in the middle of the night. Or he might be very happy or he could be... Or if he wakes up in the morning, he might be a very happy guy. Especially after he has that first cup of coffee in the morning. Or maybe his extraterrestrial kind don't drink coffee. It's probably something that they do to get a little happy in the morning. Okay. Let's move on from King Jihad to number 5, which is Rodan. That's an easy name. Rodan is a giant male colossal prehistoric interrelated species of Pteranodon that emerged due to radiation. So we're seeing a theme of the radiation thing. Well, except that extraterrestrial guy. That resides from Donoa Island in the Philippines. Dan's history started in 1956 film Rodan, where a pair of Rodans emerged from under Mount Asho in Japan. So this guy is Filipino, but he's somehow made it all the way to Japan into a Japanese volcano. And were untimely killed by a volcanic eruption. Well, that trip to Japan didn't end well for Rodan. Stash gonna fall off the couch, off the love seat. Silly kitty. Okay, let's get back to Rodan. While this kitty's being silly. She's actually going in there. She did it. Stash went in. Cool. Okay. Okay. Let's get back to Rodan. So it's poor thing. Rodan's trip to Japan didn't end too well. Died in a volcano eruption. Okay. Subsequent versions have presented different origins, including being a mutant creature from a nuclear dumping or an ancient titan from a volcano in Mexico. So it went from the Philippines to Japan, and some versions it's from a volcano in Mexico. That's a little long ways. And depending on the continuity, Rodan has been in at least 17 movies, 4 TV shows, video games, and comic books. So this creature, the Rodan, lives on a volcano. He's from Philippines, but somehow he ended up in Japan or Mexico. But in one version, he's in Japan, and Mount Aso in Japan, but Mount Aso ended his trip to Japan in a very fiery way. not sure about his trip to Mexico and that volcano. I guess he can't stay away from volcanoes. He lives in one or several. Okay, let's move on for Morrow Dam. We got two more left, which got 6 to 7 left. So, number 6 and 7 left. So that means 7. 2 more. Okay, we're on number 6. I guess we got 1 more left. Okay, we'll move on to number 6. To 6 and not our final one, but our second final one. Which is Scar King. There's like 3 kings out of this whole MonsterVerse thing. Okay. Scar King is a great ancient male primate of the red ape species that resides from the hollow earth. You remember season 1 we talked about the hollow earth? There's supposed to be a lost city in the middle of our earth. Is a theory. Oh. Better or worse?
No, you can leave that.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay, so Scar King's like our, yeah. So we're seeing a few apes. Okay. As it says, from the Hollow Earth, and we've talked about the Hollow Earth in our Lost Continent series when I started this my whole YouTube thing in season 1. It was Lost Continents, mythical lands, because the Hollow Earth is mythical. Okay, Scar King's history started in 2024's film Godzilla by Kong. Godzilla and Kong. The New Empire. So it's Scar King just debuted last year. He's just a brand new ape. Just brand spanking new by a year. Okay, in the movie, Scar King is a ruthless great ape from the Hollow Earth who attempted to conquer the surface world in ancient times. So we're going back to ancient times. So it'd be about the time frame of remember we did the whole 4 Monarchies Ancient Times series this season? It'd be about that time frame. when all those ancient monarchies were collapsing. That would be the time frame. And sparking a war against Godzilla. He was defeated and imprisoned by Godzilla, but later escaped. Woo! No. And sought revenge. Doesn't every villain in every movie, horror, or other movies that has villains in them is like, I will sought revenge someday. You'll regret it. Okay. He's he is also known for enslaving Shimu, and the Ice Titan using a crystal-tipped whip to control her. Ooh, a man controlling a woman. You will do my bidding, honey. And start the last ice age. Ooh, that's who started it. Also, so far, Scar King has been only in one movie since his premiere last year. So maybe later on we might see Scar King in more movies in this franchise. So again, we see Godzilla being the big hero and stopping the bad guy. See? Heroes are not only wear capes and their underwear outside of their pants. They can be reptilians. Okay, now we will move on from Scar King, the big bad monstrous ass of a red ape, to our final monster from the MonsterVerse. I think this guy's so cutie, last one. And he's in number 7, and is Suko. Suko is a juvenile male great ape. So he's just young. That was from an uncharted region of the Hollow Earth. As a slave under the brutal rule of the Scar King. You know, the guy we just talked about? The Suko was his slave. Poor little guy being enslaved by Scar King. Suko's history started in 2004, and I'm tearing up. Okay. The Suko's history started in A24's film, Godzilla and Kong. And the new Empire. So, the film that came out last year. Okay, Zuko's, this is a little history behind Zuko's name. Zuko is named after a Japanese emperor, Emperor Zuko, that ruled Japan from 1348 to 1351. So this Japanese emperor ruled a long time ago. And also, Zuko's name is a surname, so it can be a Japanese surname. There's probably some people in Japan that have the last name Zuko. The character Zuko in Godzilla, I think it's Godzilla by Kang, because there's X to it, grew up under the Scar King's rule. You know, we just learned that Scar King wasn't a very nice ruler. He was, let's put it this way, an ass. And later became Kong's adopted son. You remember I just said that when we were talking about Kong, that Kong is a daddy. He has some kids. And Zuko, the little cutie, is one of his kids. This is his adopted son. After forming a close bond with Kong. Oh, how sweet is that? Kong has a soft side to him. And my roommate's laughing. So after Zuko has only been, so far Zuko has only been in one film since his premiere last year. In the same film that the brutal ruler Scar King was in. So maybe, like the Scar King, we'll see Zuko in more films. I hope so. I think out of all the MonsterVerse characters, I think Zuko would be my favorite because he's so cute. Have you ever seen photos of this little guy? You would agree that he's such a cutie. So I understand why him and Kong, aka King Kong, formed a great bond. So technically, we have 3 apes in this whole MonsterVerse. 2 were not so bad, 2 were good, and 1 was a complete ass. I would form a bond to somebody just to get out of there, out of somebody's rule. So I wonder if Scar King's kingdom in the whole earth was near Agatha, Aghra. You know, the kingdom the lost world, the lost land that we talked about in the Lost Continent, Mythical Lands, back in season 1. Also been interesting for that land to be living near Scar King's kingdom back in that time. If there'd be an idea for this company that owns MonsterVerse to capitalize on that. Maybe in another film, the Scar King's in the show that. So yeah. So now, since so this is kind of neat learning about the MonsterVerse. So yeah. So and I will I'll be putting pictures of these monsters for the MonsterVerse in this video, like I've been doing since I figured out this season how to do that. I think I've actually learned a little bit more how to create videos this season. How to add photos and the music and themes, intros. Hopefully you're gonna enjoy the intro for this last episode for season 2. Yeah, I think this was a great last episode. So now, you know the drill. To like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment. And don't forget to ring the bell, because obviously I forget to ring the bell, as you know. Okay. Since season 2 is now done, I'm going to be taking 2 weeks off of Weird, Scary, and Interesting. That way it gives me a chance to finish my module 4 for my course, because I'm still working on that. And I'm getting close to exam time, so, and that way it gives me a time to be a little breather between working on YouTube and dive more into my course. And so there'd be 2 weeks time off, so I'm hoping to be back Weird, Scary, and Interesting will be back on December 3rd. Yeah, can you believe that? The holidays are coming up. Like Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and different other Christmas December holidays. We learned in season 2 and season 1, we learned more December holidays and December holidays and Gentry. I'm thinking that for season 3 we're gonna learn, for next month we'll learn about odd December holidays. That way we get a little out of the religious holidays. So for now, till December 3rd, I will say goodbye. Bye.